Join me today as we are here for another unboxing for another product from Dirt Cheap Dungeons. Welcome back to those of you who've been here before. Welcome to those of you who are new to the channel. This is going to be another unboxing video. For those of you who saw our previous one, it was of this set right here from Dirt Cheap Dungeons. This was from their Kickstarter. I believe this one's now available on their website. This is the Knoll set, as you can see here on the side. And as you can see by the various creatures that are attacking the people here on the front. So check out that. If you're not watching this on your TV, the link is probably up here somewhere, or it'll be in the description or something. So today, I'll get this out of the way, I finally received the other part of the Kickstarter, which is the Chimera set, which is the much, much larger one. So let's dig in and see what we have here. Okay, so right off the bat, one big difference is this one has a handle built into it. So that's nice for being able to carry that around everywhere. Plastic over there. And so we've got a few more little bits we got to get into here real quick. All right, so before we get going too far, as you can see on the front, there's a Chimera. And on the back, we got a little preview of what we're about to see here. So let's see what all we've got. Alright, so we have some instructions. We'll get to those here once we get to the plateaus. But let's check out the other parts here first. It looks like that's what these are going to be for, so we'll set those aside. Then we have our reinforced bits for our plateaus here. So just going to get most of this out of the box and see what all we have here. One thing that slightly delayed receiving this was, as with the other box, they figured out a different way to configure what's in the box so they could put more stuff in there. So this is actually more than what I initially pledged for on the Kickstarter. Okay, so there's all that. And a nice convenient tray to separate those. Then here we have more hills, like in the last box. I'll get some of those out here in a moment to show you, just in case you haven't seen the other video. We have some field stones. But just like the last time, I suspect these are actually just rocks. Not really, I can tell they're plastic, but they look an awful lot like rocks. And we'll get those out here in a minute. And then here we have a bunch of, and I'll empty these out here to get a better look. Kind of logs and shields and swords and pikes and all kinds of just random detritus to spread around everywhere. So, for those of you who didn't see the other videos, the way these work, you got your lower section, then you have an upper section that clips on like that. It doesn't clip on, it's just sitting on there. But there is a line here to note which side is which as far as for your 1-inch grid, because these are for like Dungeons and Dragons or other role-playing games. And once you disassemble them, all the parts fit inside like that. Like your larger ones like this, you've got several pieces. So you have your ground level, and you could just leave it like, you could leave it as just that, or you could add another level to the hill. You could leave it just as that, or you could add yet another level like that. Alternatively, it is 3 hills. So there's a lot of versatility involved in this. And yeah, you can see just the sheer number of these things that are in here. I'm not really going to go into a whole lot of these because it's real repetitive, but I will show you, there's a very large one in here too. So you can see the large imprint it has. Then we go up a level. So I'm turning sideways here. And up another level. And then finally, if we just want a rounded top instead of a flat top, we have that. And as we noted with the last video, because I happen to have some of them laying around, you could probably also use the hills anyway for Alpha Strike for BattleTech, because you don't have to use a grid for that. There's rules to use a grid, but you don't have to use a grid. So we'll get these out of the way. Then let's see what we have here. Okay, so assemble plateau, line up side, any two pieces. Okay, connect each of those pieces with a single, put a black clip, that's going to middle of two. Okay. So it looks like, let's see if these numbers are of any significance. Okay. So, if I'm reading the instructions correctly, I should be able to take 4 of these little clips and combine these 4 here into one solid hill or something. So it says you put them here. So that gets those 2 connected. Those 2. Maybe. There we go. That's those 2. And then we put the final one here to connect these. Okay. Now I'm assuming, yeah, here we go. Set these back here. And here we have our plates to put on top of these. See if I got the right sizes here. Nope. Okay, it looks like they don't intend on you building a small one like I did. So you guys give me just a moment, folks. Let's see here. What am I saying? 2 4x7 and 2 7x10s. Okay, so I need to put a midsection in there. All right, so this is not meant for the hill size I just created. Although this material is, you could probably just get a piece of plexiglass if you could have it custom cut for you. It won't have the semi-grid pattern that this has, but you know, as long as you get it cut, you just put a piece of I doubt, if you can't get it in green, maybe a piece of green felt underneath it would probably do the trick. So let's try. Let's see if this will be big enough. So before I go any farther, I'll just double check to make sure we're good on the width. Yeah, that should work. All right. So that's on me for not reading the directions there, because it does actually say that you can do this to make 2 4x7 and 2 7x10s. So I should have noticed that was too small. All right, so let's try this. So here's our hilltop. I'm going to take our piece here. And now we have a nice flat hill to work with. And I suppose if you have something like Dwarven Forge terrain, you could build directly on top of this. If you wanted to, you could keep it in line with the grid, or just as a, for D&D to note your grid pattern. And if you look, here along the sides, there are cut marks to denote where the grid is. So that can help you keep it lined up, like if you're trying to line it up on a map or something. But yeah, so this is your other hill size. So if I were to put the others together, you know, it could go to this size out here. At which point you could probably, see if I can get a hold of this one. You could probably, once you had one hill built, imagine there's a bottom of it, and then put this one on top to kind of mount it up, and then grab some of the others and put them up on top if you want to do that. So yeah, that's the big thing here, is the flat tops like this. So that's very nice. I'll have to look into maybe somehow getting a custom thing for a smaller 4x4 instead of 4x7. You know, but that's not a huge deal. In fact, it's a small deal. It's, you know, kind of small. That's a terrible joke number 1 for the day. So, yeah, and then the thing, you know, comes apart real easily. Just pop right out. You get 2 of those and 2 of the bigger ones. And you see the parts you have to work with here. All your corners, they all look about the same to me. So I'm not sure. Well, maybe they are a little bit different, but I don't see huge differences in them. But there are numbers in them, and I'm not sure why. No, that's the stacking. No, it doesn't say on here. I don't know. There's probably some slight variations so your hill doesn't look, because this hill is, as you can hopefully see here in its outline, is very symmetrical, because I've used these parts and these parts are the same part, and these are the same internal parts. So it has a very symmetrical appearance. And I'm guessing that if I already vary it up with some of these, it would lose that symmetrical appearance. So at least that's the way I'm taking it. Let's pop one out and find out real quick. Do this without destroying the whole thing. Yeah, that's what it is. See, this hill now sticks out a lot more than the other side, and so yeah, that's what it's for, is to make it so they're not symmetrical, so you mix and match them. So that's very nice. And so this bag is nothing but those connectors I was popping in there. They would sound like rocks. Yeah, these are field stones to just kind of lay out there with your terrain, or like if you're doing the flats on this, maybe on this. Most of these do have a flat side, so they do have a preferred side to go down like that. So that, you know, so they're kind of convincing as rocks, you know, like real rocks if you find in your driveway or something. But yeah, to a D&D adventurer, you know, these are pretty good size. Get that away here real quick. And then got a whole bunch of stuff in here. We've got logs of various sizes and colors, and there's a little bit of texture to them where you can see there's supposed to be the branches are broken off. You got poles, spears. You got swords, shields of various types here. It's like a boot. Probably several of those. Here's an armor plate. A tree trunk. So yeah, this is all just a whole bunch of like stuff to scatter around. And a lot of this could also be used in dungeons and not just above ground, like the weapons and stuff. That could just be found wherever. then the tree trunks, and you scatter those around. So basically, by the time you get all this set up, you've probably got quite a little above ground terrain setup going here for you just from this one box. If you're to throw in, you know, some other stuff, like say you are a fan of Dwarven Forge, but you think that some of their terrain is just too much cost-wise, you could maybe just buy a building or two, then just get like a fairly cheap green grid paper, or maybe the neoprene, the kind of mouse pad texture stuff, and then use this to actually fill out the terrain instead of the more expensive Dwarven Forge stuff, and hopefully get around to do the unboxing of, there's a set of trees by another company that are also, you know, they look good. You're not going to break the bank buying them. They're versatile. And I think if you combine all three of these, which once I've done unboxings and reviews for them, one of these days we will make just a giant setup of all this stuff somewhere and show it all off, show that it does in fact work together, and you can have a very, well, cost-effective way to get a whole lot of coverage for your tabletop. So this one box, I'd have to look up the price, and I will, and I'll put it in the description along with the link to their site. I don't know if this is up for sale yet, because I just got this in the mail from the completion of the Kickstarter. But I'm pretty sure the smaller box that I showed earlier is already up for sale. And they do have other things. They do have, it's called Dirt Cheap Dungeons for a reason, because they started with castles and dungeon type stuff. And if they're the same quality, if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to the Dwarven Forge, then you could do worse than this. I definitely feel like I got every penny that I spent on this. So, and I'll probably buy, you know, I could definitely buy a little bit more to make sure I have enough coverage to go with the trees and everything else I've got from the other company I can't think of that I'm going to feel really bad about. But don't worry, other company, I'll say your name in the unboxing. But other than that, I definitely would recommend this product to anyone looking for this kind of thing. I want to say this was like around $50, but that was in the Kickstarter, so I could be wrong on that. But this, I think you've got enough stuff here that this could be a $100 set and probably still be worth it once you get all the hills and everything. That's my opinion. But yeah. And best of all, I'm pretty sure that this is, yeah, this is all made in the United, well, I don't know about the box itself, but all these stuff in this box is made in the United States. So if that matters to you folks out there, this company, they literally bought the machines for this. That's one of the reasons it took a little while. But now that they have them and everything's up and running, they're manufacturing all of it here in the U.S. in Oregon. So another thing to consider. And somehow it's cheaper than others. I don't know. But anyway, folks, thank you for watching. And thank my cameraman here for taking some time out to give me a hand. And as usual, you know, YouTube, you know what I'm going to ask you now. Like, subscribe, share it, all that fun stuff. Hit us up on Twitter if you want to. That's where we announce the videos ahead of time. But otherwise, see you folks later.